Today I want to share something really special with you. It's a deep dive into the state of our heart, all inspired by reflections from a spiritual study circle. And it all boils down to one simple but honestly life-changing question. What does it really, truly mean for our hearts to be awake?
So right out of the gate, we're hit with this stunning statement from the great Sheikh al-Khawathir Jilani. I mean, wow. It's a line that just stops you in your tracks, right? Now, on the surface, you might think, okay, this is about praying at night. But what if the night he's talking about isn't about the sun going down at all?
And just so you know, these beautiful insights we're exploring today, they were compiled by Mir Ali Shah, and they come from reflections shared through the Inner Horizon podcast. It's just a perfect example of how this timeless wisdom is still so alive and being explored in communities today.
Okay, so that brings us to our first big question. When the Sheikh talks about the night, what is he really getting at?
And here it is. This is the core insight. The night isn't about a time of day. It's a state of the heart. You know that moment? Maybe you're at your desk, stuck in traffic, in the middle of a meeting, and suddenly the noise of the world just completely takes over, and God just fades into the background. That's the night. It's a forgetfulness of the heart that can strike at any hour of the day.
So to really understand this state of wakefulness, the Sheikh gives us two amazing archetypes for the seeker's heart, the lover and the beloved. Let's take a look at what makes them different.
So on one side, you've got the lover, the muhib. This is the person who's striving, you know? They're facing tests, feeling the weight of the journey. Their claim to love is still on the line, it's still being proven. But on the other side, you have the beloved, the mahbub. This is the one who's already been through those trials. They're no longer seeking, they are sought after. They're a guest of God, totally at ease in His presence. And here's the kicker. These aren't two different people. They're two potential states of the exact same heart.
This whole idea leads to a fascinating paradox. If God keeps someone awake at night for worship, is that a sign of honor, or is it actually a test?
And check this out. There's this incredible duality here. One way to see it is that the lover is kept awake to be tested, to be refined, while the beloved is allowed to rest like an honored guest. But then there's another interpretation. God awakens the sincere worshiper simply because He loves to hear their voice, and He lets the insincere person sleep because He dislikes the sound of their prayers. The point is, from the outside, we have no idea which it is. We can never judge.
So the obvious next question is, how does a heart make that journey? How do you go from being the struggling lover to the serene beloved? Well, the path is actually laid out pretty clearly. It all starts with the foundation, right? Fulfilling our basic duties and patiently staying away from what's forbidden. But then it gets deeper. It's about that inner work, constantly pushing back against the ego's demands, and ultimately the big one, cleansing the heart until nothing remains in it but the love and awareness of God.
And this right here, this is what the Source calls the radical center of the teaching. It's the goal. The idea isn't to go looking for a hard life or to chase after comfort. It's to get to a place where your heart is steady through both, to be completely unmoved by praise or blame, by gain or loss. That is the sign of a truly mature, awakened heart.
So how do you get that kind of inner stability? It comes from a total shift in perception, a core principle we know as Tawheed, or divine unity. It's all about seeing the true source behind everything. Let's make this super practical. We say that medicine heals us, right? But the real cause, the true healer, is God, who is just using the medicine as a tool. We say our salary provides for us, but the true provider is God, who's just using our job as the instrument. It's not about denying that things cause other things. It's about seeing the first cause behind all of those secondary causes.
So the really crucial takeaway is this. The world is not some kind of clockwork machine that was wound up ages ago and now just runs on its own. No, it's an active, living reality where every single thing that happens, every moment, is willed and sustained by the divine. Every effect is a fresh decision.
Now, I know these ideas can feel a little abstract. So to make them more concrete, the study circle shared two really beautiful metaphors for the heart's journey.
Let's build this first image together. Just imagine, your life, your very existence, is a kite.
In this world, with all its craziness, its ups and downs, those sudden gusts of good fortune and bad fortune, well, that's a raging storm. And the kite is just being tossed around, right? Seemingly at the mercy of all these chaotic winds.
But, and this is the key, the kite isn't lost. It's being held by a string. And that string is dhikr.
the constant moment-to-moment remembrance of God. As long as that connection is held firm in his hand, the kite is safe. It's secure no matter how wild the storm gets.
Okay, the second metaphor is for that state of spiritual maturity we were talking about. The goal for the heart is to become like a mountain, standing absolutely firm in the crossfire of life.
So what's the crossfire? It's these four winds that are constantly blowing against us. The wind of praise from one side, the wind of blame from the other. The winds of gain and loss. A mountain feels those winds for sure, but it doesn't move. Its reality isn't changed by the weather. And there it is again, that equal indifference we saw earlier.
So, let's bring this all home. What's the practical result of our heart's inner state? Well, the Sheikh explains that our inner state works kind of like a radio frequency, and it attracts thoughts that are on that same frequency.
These passing thoughts have a name, Khawathir, and the teaching here is so powerful. These thoughts, these urges that pop into our heads, they are not random visitors. They are invited guests. They show up because they match what our heart is already broadcasting. If your heart is broadcasting love of the world, guess what kind of thoughts show up? And if it's broadcasting love of God, then divine inspirations will arrive.
Understanding this leads to one of the most beautiful and necessary prayers you can make. Allahumma arina haqqa haqqan, warzuqna tibah, wa arina batila batilan, warzuqna jinnibah. It's a plea for clarity, not just for the strength to do the right thing, but for the clarity to see things as they really are, to see truth as truth and falsehood as falsehood, and then to be given the grace to follow one and avoid the other. What a gift that is.
And so this is the question I want to leave with all of us. If our thoughts are truly a reflection of our heart's deepest interests, what notions are visiting your heart today? What frequency is it tuned to?